Exhaustion that hits like a wall. Check. Can't stop craving carbs and sugar. Check. Weight that won't budge. The scale won't move. Check. Brain fog, mood swings, constant hunger, even after eating. Check, 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 and check. I was reading a symptom list and realized this was describing my life, and not one doctor in decades ever mentioned insulin resistance to me. Wow. So I was deep in research about intermittent fasting and ketosis and trying to understand why my body responded the way it did or didn't respond the way I wanted it to. And was really looking at what changed over the years and did a lot of research, including stumbling across insulin resistance. And when I started reading all those symptoms, every single one matched. And it wasn't just one or two things. It was everything. It was my entire experience with my body. And it had me looking at all the doctor's appointments I'd had over the years, and they would test for thyroid, and they would just tell me that I was eating too much and that I needed to exercise more or lower the calories. Eat more, eat less, move more, lectures. How many weigh-ins? Decades of all of that. And, it's like rinse and repeat, different doctors. And every doctor I went to basically had the same training. So this was something I had to figure out on my own. I'm not saying doctors don't talk about it, but in my situation, I did not come across a doctor that talked about it. So here is I am not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. This is my very simplistic explanation of it. But they throw around terms like metabolic syndrome, prediabetes, and for the most part, don't really explain what's going on, what's with your body. And so, like I said, very simplistic. Think of insulin as a delivery driver. So every time you eat, especially when you're eating something that has carbs and or sugar, your blood sugar goes up. What is insulin's job? Insulin's job is to deliver that sugar, the glucose, to your cells for energy. So when everything works well, the insulin knocks, the cell opens up, the glucose gets delivered, everybody's happy. What happens over the years? High sugar breakfast, constant snacking, the blood sugar roller coasters of up and down. Your cells get tired of answering the door, or there's just too much. And the insulin keeps knocking, and it gets it knocks louder and louder and harder, bringing more, asking for more help, more insulin. Your pancreas is working overtime. Eventually, our cells are like, stop knocking, we're full. Can't take anymore. So that is insulin resistance. Your blood sugar then stays high because the cells can't take it. There's nowhere else for it to go. And our bodies are amazing, and they really do a great job of trying to put that excess sugar in different places, but our bodies will get to the point where there's nowhere else for it to go. Your insulin stays high because your body keeps trying. And you don't feel well. You feel like garbage because neither your cells nor your blood have had the energy they need in the right places. They don't have the time to take care of, what's the word, of, I can't think of the word. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to cut this piece. Feel like garbage. Okay, cut. So you feel like garbage because neither your cells nor your blood have the energy they require in the right places. And our bodies are amazing and they work really, really hard to take care of us. So what does it feel like? I had so many of the symptoms. I realized I've been living with it. So energy crashes, okay? Complete exhaustion that can hit me out of nowhere. Makes you want to curl up and take a nap wherever you are. Out of You're fine, and then out of nowhere you're not. Your energy goes phew. You can't stop eating. Your body is signaling, I need carbs, I need carbs, I need carbs, even when you've just eaten. It's a really interesting cycle. So carbs and sugar. And it wasn't about lack of willpower, I have come to find out. My cells were literally starving while my blood was full of sugar that they couldn't access. So my body was trying to get the energy however she could. And the fuel that I was putting in my body it wasn't the fuel my body required. So I was feeding the carb monster, give me more, give me more, give me more through pasta, bread, sugar, all of that, just piling the sugar on. So brain fog is another thing. Oh my God, where are my keys? What was I just talking about? Why can't I think straight? I can't quite focus, that foggy, foggy feeling. The weight that won't budge, no matter how little I ate, no matter how much I exercised. My body was in crisis mode, holding on to everything. The constant hunger, eat a full meal, and an hour later I was hungry again. My cells were screaming for different types of energy. My blood sugar was sky high. Okay. Mood swings, hangry, didn't begin to cover it. I could also have crashes where, like, oh my God, my body was shaking. I needed to eat. My blood sugar had gone, phew. So my blood sugar was on a roller coaster. My mood was along for the ride. My mood was along for the ride. Sound familiar? Ay, 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 right? So here is what I did not know while I was stumbling around in the dark, trying diet after diet after diet, that this was reversible. Not just manageable with medication, which, some people have to do. And I'm not saying don't do that, but it is reversible. Okay. And I'm so grateful to my body that my cells had not permanently closed their doors. They were just exhausted from decades of constant sugar deliveries, and they needed a break. They needed to remember that insulin was not the enemy. It was just doing too much too often. And I had to figure this out on my own through research because no doctor had ever connected those dots for me. Okay. So once I understood what insulin resistance actually was, I could finally make sense of what my body required. So I stopped eating the foods that kept insulin knocking on my door every hour, asking for constant sugar deliveries, keeping my cells exhausted. I gave my body and my cells time to recover, time to heal, to remember how to respond normally to insulin. I learned about intermittent fasting as a way to give my body actual breaks from constantly processing food and healing, letting insulin take a vacation and letting my cells rest. I discovered ketones as clean fuel, and ketones don't require the same insulin response. But here is the most important part of all of this. I began understanding what my body was doing. Exactly what she was designed to do. protecting me from what I kept feeding her. But oops, like, oh my gosh. So insulin resistance was not my body failing me. It was my body trying to save me from decades of sugar overload. So if you are insulin resistant or suspect you might be based on what I've talked about, here's what I've learned through the research. And again, I am not a doctor. Please, consult um, your medical peeps and see what works for you. But for me, what worked was I reduced the sugar load. I consistently enough that my cells could catch their breath and heal. That means watching out for all of the sugar's sneaky aliases on ingredient labels. And I will do another video on all of that. Okay. Time restricted eating, like in windows, if that works for you, giving your body actual breaks from processing food so that insulin can take a vacation and get a rest. And your body and your cells can rest and rejuvenate and heal. So movement can help your body use glucose without needing as much insulin. I found that really fascinating. So partner with your body, not against your body. She's been working overtime to keep you going. So stop and say, thank you, body. Thank you, amazing body, for taking care of me. For me, I had so much abuse of my body, and I'm so grateful that she took care of me through all of that abuse. And now it's my turn to be like, okay, body, what do you require? And what can I give you that's going to nurture you and fuel you? So if you're reading this, or listening to this going, check, check, check to the symptoms, how many years have you been dealing with those symptoms? How many doctors have told you to eat less and move more without ever mentioning it? So do your own research. And I hope that this helps. Your body knows what your body needs, and she always has. So if this has made things click for you in any way, I have a newsletter, Beyond the Scale with Betsy. I would love to contribute to you real information about what's going on with your body in non-scientific ways, as you can see. And the link is in the description. And let me know, did your doctor talk about it? I hope that more doctors will talk about it. And there are some great doctors out on YouTube, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Chaffee, who are talking about those things. And there's a lot of other doctors where you can get, a more medical angle of what I'm talking about. And what is your body asking for? So I'm so grateful that you're here. I would love if you would just, do that thing that everybody does on YouTube and subscribe and share, and let me know what I can contribute to you. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.